I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington.
Titans, go!
What's happening, everybody? I'm back. Happy New Year. I know it's middle of the month already, but it's episode 80 of the Mad Titan Podcast. And me, resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington. I missed y'all. Sorry for the delay. Holidays and trying to catch up from the holidays and being in LA where supposedly 1 in 3 people have COVID, which means I should have had way more than enough time to record podcasts. But I'm trying to make sure my ass is safe and healthy. And as far as testing goes, I'm 12-0 for COVID, so I can live with that right now. But I miss y'all, man. Thank you to everybody who's been reaching out, showing love. Thank you to everybody who's still been rocking with me along the way. Thank you to everybody who's been watching the Mad Titan, not the Mad Titan, excuse me, Blurred in the Hood with me and Winston. Appreciate all y'all. There's a decent amount to talk about. That was one of the things that I'm glad now the ball is rolling in the new year with the arrival of the Marvel Studios Disney Plus shows. All the news about all of the DC movies going both to theaters and HBO Max and so much more. So let me kick it off as I always do with my Marvel news. Oh, by the way, before I go any further, for those who may just have started following me and heard about the Mad Titan Podcast, heard me talk about it and whatnot, what I do here is I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. This is barbershop talk for nerds. What I mean is that I'm keeping it a buck. Now, eventually I'll have more guests on with me. I'll start, going through people's schedules and whatnot. And I know you're thinking, again, hey, Jay, it's a pandemic. Most people ain't working. But again, people are mentally trying to deal with shit and trying to, fix their families and fix their own lives. So sometimes they don't have time for this. And I understand. But I keep it 100 with everything I talk about. I do not pull any punches. I will not spare your feelings. If you are going to get in them, please know that this ain't the podcast for you. It's just like that. I will get into everything and all of those good details, if you will, as we go on throughout the show. But like I said, I'm going to kick it off with my Marvel news. And there's so much Marvel news that I needed to cover. And I'm glad I can cover, cover the basics. I can cover the basics of what's been new and hot. Let's say that. Let's say it that way, right? All right. So let me put this. I forgot to. I'm literally talking to you guys while I am editing the run sheet at the same time. Again, I'm my producer. I'm the dude who makes sure this shit happens. So I gotta add this right here. And then that right there. And then put this, type that in. Oh, yeah, y'all getting this shit in the real. Y'all ain't getting no edited version of this shit. Me taking shit out while I'm typing. No, y'all getting all this for what it's worth in the raw. So Deadpool will be rated R and in the MCU proper. This is from what Kevin Feige said when he spoke in an interview to Collider. Now, people have been asking about Deadpool's fate, of course, after the acquisition of Fox by Disney and, the mutants coming over, the X-Men and everything. And then people were concerned about Deadpool, and with Marvel Studios being under the Disney banner, would Deadpool keep his R rating? Well, Kevin Feige has said, yes, that will happen. And yes, he will be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe proper. A lot of people thought it was going to be an alternative universe that has Deadpool to be able to be that way. This way they can separate it categorically and whatnot in fear of people who may get too sensitive. Let's call it for what it is. But he has said that is not going to happen. And of course, everybody is wondering, when will we first see the Merc with a mouth? And Kevin Feige has also said, look, it's going to be a minute before we see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Scripts and ideas are coming together. But Ryan Reynolds is a star, and he is busy. So let's not jump into he will be jumping into Deadpool, popping up in movies ASAP. Now, granted, yes, it does not take much to film Excuse me. It does not take much to film post-credit scenes. We know about. I will always go back to the original Avengers post-credit scene. How that was filmed right after the premiere. Right after the premiere of the movie. So, it's one of those things we gotta just be cool with and just wait and see what happens. But I'm one of those people interested to see what happens, interested to see where this goes. I'm looking forward to it. I think we've more than established what Marvel Studios does and what the MCU is, and also a family-friendly level, but also to the point where it can appease some grown-ups. Let's just be honest, the comic book characters themselves are not meant for kids. And I know some people say, well, it's still a comic book, but there are some comic books that aren't for kids. The graphic novels of the boys, which is still can be considered a comic, not for kids. So those things can happen. And so I think, this will roll well. I'm looking forward to it. So I normally don't try to talk about. Let me do these first. Let me do these sure shot things. Ethan Hawke has been cast as the bad guy in Marvel Studios' Moon Knight on Disney Plus. That is a big game. Oscar Isaac is set to play Moon Knight. Also, May Calmaway from Raimi on Hulu has been added to it. Look, I get excited hearing casting news. Great actors. Some people I may not have known about, and some people I'm finding out about. But I'm not gonna lie, myself personally, I'm one of them dudes. I'm an actor out here. I'm in these streets. I'm a working actor, and I would love the opportunity to be part of it, of either of a Marvel series, a Marvel movie, a DC series, a DC movie. And I don't have to be a main hero or villain or something, just to be a part of that history and that lineage or something. And so when you hear these top tier talents that are coming on board, yes, it is. When you look back, when your agents and your reps look, it's like, yo, these have been generating revenue and making money, so you can make money off these. In terms, we can make money being the reps, so you get it. But it's not like they're getting slouches, And even if it is someone we've barely heard of, or it's a newcomer in general, we end up being pleasantly surprised. I think for instance, we're getting many people who were familiar, I believe it was with Canadian TV, knew who Simu Liu was before beginning Shang-Chi. Iman Vellani, who's going to be Miss Marvel, it's one of those things again. What is it? Sarah Haley Finn. She's the main casting agent for Marvel. Look, she has cast amazing characters for what they have, what the roles that they were casting for. And yes, I have to say it that way because for those who don't know how the game works, when I talk about Hollywood and TV shows and movies and roles, every role isn't casted for. There are roles that are offered, and there are roles that are, all right, cool, we got two of the mains, but we really don't have an idea who we want for these other two or three other main characters. So let's put out the auditions and see who we can get in here. So that's how it works. And again, she has brought in some incredible talent that we have seen throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just saying what it is. So yeah, I'm happy for that. We've gotten posters now from the set of Spider-Man 3. And these posters talk about how I believe in Mysterio, Mysterio's last message at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, where he said that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and he tried to kill me. I mean, he's killing me and blah, 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 blah. But another significant thing that came out from the videos is that it appears to be Christmas time. Excuse me. We see Zendaya as MJ. I believe she's working in a store. Peter walking around. It's snow on the ground. And so now it's pretty much a given once seeing that. You can tell what the title is. And, we were told, we as fans, the public, readers, everybody, that the third Spider-Man title would include the word home in it again, just like Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm pretty much sure it's now Spider-Man Home for the Holidays. I think that's pretty much going to be it. Pretty much Spider-Man Home for the Holidays. Now, unless they decide to change it last minute, but seeing that Christmas thing seems like Spider-Man Home for the Holidays and him trying to traverse around and prove he's not Spider-Man and deal with everybody and all that. And so, yeah, I'm waiting for that. So this goes back to rumors and shit like that. So, for those who are new and don't know me that well, there is a website called We Got This Covered. We Got This Covered is the most trash-ass, clickbaity, bullshit-ass website, throws shit at a wall and sees what sticks site. Now, they have thrown all time, because something sounds plausible, they throw it out there. They just throw it out and throw it out and throw it out. And sometimes they get lucky, but that's just as much as any random rumor you throw out that sounds plausible. You can potentially get, lucky. Well, there's been literally rumor, that Charlie Cox, who played Matt Murdock in Daredevil on Netflix, has filmed scenes for the upcoming Spider-Man movie. Now, many people are automatically jumping into this because who better to represent Spider-Man, to try Peter Parker, to try to prove he's not Spider-Man, but Daredevil, and many people want Charlie Cox back. I am one of them. I think he was an amazing Matt Murdock. I would love to see him as Daredevil in the MCU. However, it is just rumored. It is rumored. There is no confirmation. And here's why I kind of dismiss this rumor. Because if it's true, again, it's one of those throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. When you hear that at the end of Spider-Man 2, you see that, oh shit, now Peter got to prove he's not Spider-Man. He gonna fucking need a lawyer. Oh, wow, Matt Murdock, right? So it's just easy to throw that out there. Now, if he is in the movie, fine. But if he's not, stop throwing that shit out there and stop believing it. Because here's the thing. People say he's just, like I said, he's recently finished filming all of his scenes, right? He's done filming everything for the movie. But if we are familiar with how movies work, especially comic book movies, whether it be Marvel or DC or any other comic book movie, there are always, especially if somebody is on set that shouldn't be, there are always videos, pictures, something leaks. Because all it does, whether it is a leak where somebody snuck and got this footage and whatnot, or someone inside leaked it, quote unquote, to generate more buzz behind it, we would have seen something with Charlie Cox there. There would have, people can say, oh, a source is reporting. But look, we've gotten photos from numerous movies that have shown somebody is somewhere that was like, oh shit, they in this. And you telling me now we don't get anything of Charlie Cox? Come on, fam. Let's be real with ourselves. Yes, as much as we want it. But also, here's another thing. If Spider-Man needs a lawyer, guess what? The MCU has already set up that there is another lawyer coming to the MCU and can basically work for Spider-Man if they wanted to start it off like that. What lawyer am I talking about? Her name is Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. Yes, the Incredible Hulk's cousin. So, like, again, I'm not saying I just don't want Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we are already knowing that we're getting a She-Hulk series with Tatiana Maslany in the role, which means Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. They already said her show is going to be a comedy court drama, so you're looking at somewhat of a night court type thing, or Ally McBeal. So don't expect all this bang bang action and Hulk smash, because you're not getting that. What you might get a lot is She-Hulk fucking. Because, yes, if you've read the comic books, She-Hulk, one of the things She-Hulk is famous for, she's a lawyer, she's strong as shit, but she has a high sex drive. So you might get that. Now, back to rumors. There's also rumors that Kristen Ritter, quote unquote, is going to reprise her role for She-Hulk. Because, yes, Jessica Jones had a history working for Jerry and all them in law firms and whatnot. I get that. But unless Marvel backed the truck up, I'm not saying that they can't, We all remember, for those who pay attention, Kristen Ritter said she was happy that the season was done. The series was done, excuse me. She was done. She done what she wanted. So she was happy stepping away from the role. Again, difference with Charlie Cox. He's always said he'd love to come back. Kristen Ritter said she stepped away from that. So when people are like, oh, I heard a scoop and blah, blah, blah. No, it's again, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Because again, it sounds plausible. It sounds plausible. Would we like to see it? Absolutely. Would I like to see an alcoholic, just angry at the world, Jessica Jones, who's just as strong as a She-Hulk, talk shit to She-Hulk? Yes. But again, I can easily put those two together just in a thought process and put it out there and have people run with that. So I need that not to be a big thing that we are holding on to. You know what I'm saying? But these rumors are different things. Like there's another rumor now that is the dumbest thing for me personally that people have taken and ran with because they didn't think clearly in the beginning. There's a rumor, as I'm saying. I heard a rumor. Oh, that's something different. That's not Marvel or DC. That's the Umbrella Academy, which, by the way, shouts out to my homeboy, Justin Cornwell, who will be one of the Sparrows. He will be Marcus Hargreaves, a.k.a. Sparrow number 1. This is one of my best friends, and I'm so happy for him. But I digress. So, the rumor is that Michael B. Jordan will be reprising his role as Killmonger for Black Panther 2. Now, there are people who are reporting this like, yeah, I got a scoop on this and blah, 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 blah. Or I've been broke this news. My sources told me. First of all, it wasn't hard to figure that out that he could return. Killmonger doesn't have to be a mainstay character in Black Panther 2. Why? Because Killmonger died. He was a Black Panther. He therefore will appear in the ancestral plane to speak to whoever is the next Black Panther. This is nothing that was a giant scoop. This made sense. This only made sense. It goes what I said earlier. It makes sense that you bring him back. He doesn't have to be back for a full role. He doesn't have to take the mantle. He's in the ancestral plane. And that way, because it's awkward, he again, when you hold the title of king and the mantle of king and Black Panther, you appear in the ancestral plane. Plain and simple. So it just don't make no fucking sense. People like, yo, my sources told me. It was fucking common knowledge. It's fucking common knowledge. Also, another thing. So just recently was revealed that Evan Peters' Spanish voice dub has confirmed that he will be in WandaVision. Again, people who listen to me, who be like, yo, Jay keep it a buck, Jay makes sense, Jay bring up points, and Jay know what to tell you shit. I've already told you that Evan Peters was going to be in it as Quicksilver. Because why? Wanda is making a bunch of different universes and worlds. So of course she will see a Quicksilver from another world that is not the same Pietro Maximoff that she knows. Not a major scoop thing. And I'm not talking about fans who find out. I'm not talking about people who don't cover this shit. I'm not talking people who like in depth trying to be a pundit and whatnot and actually have sources and connections. I'm talking about those are the ones I am talking about. Motherfuckers who say, I got sources and my sources tell me. Motherfucker, it's easy to figure that out. Very simple. Stop saying, people gotta be like, yo, such and such said. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put 2 and 2 together and get 4. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out Wanda Maximoff in WandaVision is going through a mental breakdown, i.e. House of M and Scarlet Witch and the Visions, has this mental breakdown and is creating these different worlds and realities. They've already said it will lead into Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness, where Wanda Maximoff will be the Scarlet Witch and be the villain. So in the process of Wanda making these different worlds and different realities, it would only make sense, and now, especially since it was approved, it's confirmed that Evan Peters was going to be in a role in fucking WandaVision. 9 times out of 10, you're not using Evan Peters for just some random role, because now you own the Fox characters. Now you own them. Now, is that saying you're bringing the mutants in that way? No, it's just Wanda seeing her brother, a different iteration of her brother. Is she the point for mutants coming off, or are the Eternals, no matter what, mutants come in because of the 4 snaps that we find out through Infinity War and Endgame? Yes, 4 snaps. Thanos' original snap, Thanos' snap to get rid of the stones, the Hulk snap, and Tony Stark snap. Those 4 snaps that let a whole bunch of radiation out in the world. So, yeah, that's that. Speaking of WandaVision, my thoughts on WandaVision are, I love it. It is a slow burn. I think everyone that didn't like it needs to calm down. But instead of going, man, this is just trash, I don't get this, and why isn't it like this? This isn't what I was expecting. That's exactly it. You were expecting Avengers 5. You were expecting out the gate action. Did you not watch the trailers? And even in these 2 episodes that are reminiscent of old Dick Van Dyke and Bewitched episodes, shouts out to all the Nick at Night kids, they're giving you so many jewels, so many Easter eggs as to what's happening. If you watch episode 2, spoiler alert, how after she talks to Vision and she's pregnant, all of a sudden she goes out and sees the beekeeper. She says no, and she rewinds reality. And so there's so much to let you know it's going to go forward. Again, Catherine Hahn is Agnes, who eventually is Agatha Harkness, is amazing. Clues to who she is. Her rabbit, Senior Scratchy. In the comics is a cat, Mr. Scratch, Nicholas Scratchy. Just so many different things. But my full thoughts on that are available on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAYWashington80. I have my reviews of the first 2 episodes up. I will have weekly updates on that. Also, we may be getting Wonder Man. Simon Williams may be coming. Now, there was a featurette for WandaVision that was released, and it was with Kevin Feige, and Jack Schaefer, one of the producer EPs. And behind Jack, you see a picture, a concept art of Wonder Man. Now, he may possibly pop up in this show. Now, does he have to be a main character? We don't know. But, again, the MCU and Marvel and studios in general have been known for dropping gems to lead you down a path for things in the latter. This person was introduced now, we forget about it, then here they come in a movie, or they're referenced and then they're proven to be. So again, I am super excited. I wasn't privy to the first 3 episodes like many people I know were. And so I'm like, I'll watch it just like everybody else, but I'm enjoying it. And again, I am not going to be one of those people, I've said this numerous times on this podcast before, I'm not one of them dudes that think the MCU is infallible. I've openly said that. They're not infallible. They have had misses. There are things that personally I question, like, why did you do this? But I also at the same time be like, in Feige we trust. So that's a thing. That is a thing, ladies and gents. Hopefully we can move through that. All right, in my DC news. So it's about, let's play catch up with everything. So Wonder Woman 84, at one point was rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, then it went back up to fresh. And Zack Snyder has released a picture of Wonder Woman for his Justice League movie. It shows her holding a beheaded man during the Crimean War. Now, there are people like, oh, Wonder Woman don't behead. And then other people like, well, you clearly don't read comics. Look, there is for me, again, this is with Marvel and DC. Depending on how you establish the character, what tone you give that character, I think you stay with that tone. If you make this character serious and gritty and no remorse, then you stay with that. If you make this character light and bubbly and having fun, you stay with that. I think when you try to shift tones or things like that, yes. And again, Diana is a warrior from a warrior nation. All the Amazons are trained, not all of them, but most of the Amazons are trained warriors. They are fighters. And they damn sure don't like dudes. Like, because men have fucked up the world, which is like, yeah, they right. Speaking of which, in Justice League, Zack Snyder has revealed that it will no longer be a 4-episode thing. It is a 4-hour movie. It is a 4-hour movie. Now, I'm going to watch it regardless. Let's establish that right now. Gonna watch it because I want to know what it is for myself. I've said it before, say it again. I'll watch it. I go into it open eyes as I always do. But I go into it open eyes and, with a clear head. Yes, I have my feeling on this shit ain't going to be great. It takes when people say, oh, you need to see the flushed out story, and I got to see a 4-hour story to see some flushed out, like, yo, luckily they got me sitting 3 hours with Avengers Endgame. Like, I'm not one of those people that was like, yo, they could have made it 5 hours. I said, no, nigga, I got a life. I got shit to do. Granted, yes, I can watch it on HBO Max, pause it at the same spot where I paused it, come back to it later, finish it. Am I going to do this all in one sitting? Probably not. Probably not. Am I going to wait the night it drops and at midnight I sit up, watch the Snyder Cut till 4 a.m? I know absolutely I'm not doing that. Will I wake up the next day and possibly start my day and do whatever I need to do, then eventually watch it? More than likely. More than likely. So I say all that to say, I think I said this on the last episode, and I've said it various podcasts and whatever. Look, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. But what we not gonna do, excuse me, what we not gonna do is act like this is the greatest cinematic masterpiece in fucking history. All right? There are some movies that are just beautiful. There's some movies that are good. There's some movies that encapsulate you, to catch your emotion. But we're not gonna make it seem like this shit is the end all be all. I've said it before. Some of y'all gonna do that. I'm like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever made. It should be nominated for an Oscar. Shit your ass down. All right? But going into that, it also ties into the situation with Ray Fisher. Now, it came out, and Ray Fisher has reported to everyone that he was being written out of The Flash. This is post their Warner Brothers investigation of Jeff Johns, Walter Hamada, Joss Whedon, and his situations and Ray Fisher's accusations. Now, Ray still feels that Warner Brothers was not being forthright and they are not holding people accountable because Jeff Johns, who's I've never had problems with Jeff. Never had any issues with him. So I do stand with Ray Fisher. I do stand with Ray, but I've never personally had an issue with Jeff. But Jeff is still working on Stargirl, so clearly they are not separating him. And like I said, Ray Fisher said he cannot work with anything where Walter Hamada is in charge. He is the head of DC Films. And so that came out. And then Warner Brothers, tried to fight back a little bit. Then Ray Fisher dropped audio that said you'd been nothing but, professional. You anytime you said you were going to be with us, you did. You didn't reschedule. Because at one point, Warner Brothers was like, yo, we've been trying to talk to dude and he's been rescheduling, blah, blah, blah. And my man dropped him receipts and he was like, say what? Now, here's the thing. Would I love to see Ray go further as Cyborg? Yes. He even said that his role in The Flash was more than just a cameo. I would have loved to seen that movie Cyborg was supposed to have. Do I think that this might be overblown? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I've said it before. I've asked a question. If this were a more high-profile black actor, i.e. Idris Elba, or Will Smith, would the same actions be taken towards them that they are being taken towards Ray? Because towards Ray is like, this was his jump-off point of his career. This was his big launching pad. Whereas these other big name established actors, you really are gonna cater to them. It's easy to get rid of Ray Fisher and be like, all right, we moving on. Because look, at the end of the day, that's what Warner Brothers is doing. After they said the investigation was closed, everything we hear from here on, from that moment on, whether it be Ray Fisher dropping receipts, more things coming out, it doesn't matter. Warner Brothers has said they're closing it. That investigation is closed. Now, if they say they're reopening it, whole different ball game. But as far as Warner Brothers goes, they don't give a fuck no more. So now we have to see what happens with Ray Fisher's career. Granted, yes, Jordan Peele and many others say, yo, we're going to work with you. He has a deal. He's in an ABC miniseries that's set to come up. It's a matter of saying if it goes forward. But again, I can't help but think if this is a more prominent actor, will we be having the same discussion? If this was a more prominent black actor, would Hamada probably would have stayed in charge. But would Jeff Johns be shuffled around? Joss Whedon is easy to get rid of. Would there be any type of repercussions, reprimands, or whatever have you? It's an interesting thing to think about. But again, I say this. I stand with the brother. I stick by him. I mentioned this on Twitter after I saw it from a lot of other. I mentioned it, and as well as a lot of others have. It is amazing to see that there are not a lot of black actors, black pundits, journalists, critics, what have you, not sticking by Ray Fisher because of their fear of not wanting to be blacklisted and boycotted and, not being able to work with them. And I know someone's like, yo, Jay, are you fearful of that? And I'm like, nah, I'm not. Because here's why. I've never said anything. I said this last episode too. I said the same thing last episode. I'm going to stick with my mans. I'm going to ride with him. I've always supported black people. I'm always going to support you, especially if you come with receipts. We've seen many, many black men and women shifted out of their positions, out of their jobs and more because of their color, because people think like, yo, you're replaceable. It doesn't matter. You haven't brought a lot of revenue towards us. So I rock with them. Unless something, they would have literally, let me tell you something. Warner Brothers would have to come out and say, yo, Ray Fisher was an asshole on set. He was a bigger diva than all of the other actual stars we had. Because think about it. He is the newest to the Justice League, the newest star when he came to the Justice League. Ezra Miller had Fantastic Beasts. Ben Affleck has been Affleck. Jason Momoa had Game of Thrones and so much more. Gal Gadot comes off so much. Henry Cavill as well. But again, we'll see what happens. I do want to go into this. Batwoman kicked off its second season with Javicia Leslie as Ryan Wilder. And I will admit, I really dug it. Now, for those who know, it's no secret, I didn't care too much for season 1 of Batwoman. I wasn't a fan of Ruby Rose in the role in the first place. I thought Ruby Rose was great when she was a supporting character, but as the lead and carry in the show, I didn't rock with that at all. I just couldn't get behind it. When she was in the ensembles and stuff like that, I couldn't really get into that. But I love the first episode. I love Ryan's story. I love the reason why. First of all, Carolyn Dries, I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. Thank you for making a legitimate reason why Kate Kane is quote unquote missing. Thank you for having something that is pretty much finite. And it works. It works. So thank you so much for that. Because I was nervous. Also, the world's finest crossover that was supposed to happen with Batwoman and Superman and Lois is now off the table because of COVID. Now, the showrunner for Batwoman, Carolyn Dries, who I just mentioned, says, quote, "We're not really able to cross over because physically we can't cross crews due to the fear of exposure to COVID. So if Supergirl weren't ending this year, I would say there would be more of a possibility. But I'm afraid that at least this year, we're not going to be able to tap into that dynamic," which again, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Again, you have to play it safe. You have to play it safe. Where the movie and film industry and TV industry is back rolling. They film in Vancouver. And a lot of places, a lot of times it's like different rules, but at the same time, when it comes to SAG-AFTRA, you just want everybody to be safe. It's still a global pandemic. And I know, yes, there's some of y'all that say this dumb shit. Oh, it ain't nothing but the flu. Fuck out of here. First of all, yes, there are some people who will feel only flu-like symptoms. But then there are others who have said it is the worst shit in their life. Then there are those who have died. So let's not do that. Let's not do this whole the flu kills more people, blah, 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 because it hasn't. People have even said stupid shit of, well, where's the flu kill? What about people getting the flu this year? People have gotten the flu. I have a friend, a close friend, who was diagnosed with both COVID and the flu. So, they like the flu? No. Actually, what COVID is SARS, an upgraded version of SARS. For those who don't know what SARS is, please go ahead and Google it. It is a very dangerous virus that was whooping China's ass at one point. And SARS was a coronavirus, which is why this COVID virus is considered SARS-CoV-2. It's an evolution of the SARS virus. As, you know, again, coronaviruses comes in all shapes and forms. The common cold is a coronavirus, so. But I digress. But as long as they're taking this safety, again, having been on movie sets and TV sets post in this pandemic and seeing how it's no joke, you know, you have to be tested numerous times. The social distancing, even though on sets, and how they have pods for different departments on TV shows and films, where the art department is one pod, lighting and sound and all that, they're on their own pods, and unless they really have to intermingle, they don't. So I get it, but yeah, just to keep that safe is fine. I wanted to talk about this because I saw it and I was like, yeah, we kind of knew this was gonna happen. It finally had been announced that HBO Max has passed on Green Arrow and the Canaries, so that is not happening at all. Because the CW said no, we're not doing it. HBO Max was like, nah, we good. Listen, Catherine McNamara is a sweetheart. Juliana Harkavy, amazing. Katie Cassidy Rogers, phenomenal. Cool chick. I wish him nothing but the best. But this show would have had a better chance of succeeding if it would just carried on in present day instead of transporting them to the future. I mean, it sucks. But we kind of knew. I knew for a while it wasn't happening. I knew along with, you know, Guggenheim and Berlanti and all them. I knew for a while this wasn't happening. It just had to be officially announced. And it was. And season 2 of Swamp Thing is definitely not happening. Thank God. Many people started watching Swamp Thing because it came on CW. And everybody was like, yo, are they going to possibly revive this? Absolutely not. That is not going to happen. Yes, would I like to seen Floronic Man? Yes. But the story was not about Swamp Thing. It was about Abby Arcane. So that is what it is at the end of the day, you know. Ain't no point in really trying to stress on it and whatever. So look, I think that is, let me see, I think that's all I have to cover for this week. Let me go over to the Mad Titan emails. madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. Whew, it's been a minute. Let me see. All right, let me see what we got. All right, we got some emails here, and I'm going to go to this first email. It's from Joshua Alicia, and it says, step back. He says, hey, Jay, as always, I hope this email finds you well and in good spirits. I'm sure you extensively covered the subject by now, but after watching Wonder Woman 1984, I find myself, quote-unquote, worrying, for lack of a better term, about the DC universe in terms of theatrical films. First, when I first watched the film, I thought it was like vanilla ice cream. Nothing special, but nothing bad either. And after having convos with friends and families, I feel the more apt comparison is pistachio ice cream. Some people like it, and I can't explain why. To me, I throw this in the same category as Captain Marvel, where it feels like a step back in terms of superhero telling. It reminded me of those early to mid 2000 comic book films where it's very basic and flat from a storytelling and pacing perspective. Maybe I'm just being harsh, but I just didn't connect with it like the first two thirds of the first film. Yeah, you heard me right. I don't like the last third of the movie. I'm sure you've expressed it, but how do you feel about DC in general terms of their ability to put out quality films time and time again? Are you like me, like I go in blind hoping for the best and usually get disappointed, or don't care? Stay strong, bro. Joshua Alicia. Well, Joshua, first of all, thanks for your email. I do go in hoping for the best, no matter what. And this is true, and I will always reference Wonder Woman. I was always going to be for it. Wonder Woman 84, because I saw people's reactions, but I hadn't seen it, and I still watched it for myself. And Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is probably the biggest one for me, because I went into Suicide Squad so pumped up, so gung-ho, and that shit was trash. And no, I don't want the Ayer cut to all of a sudden try to make up for that shit long term. We have already moved forward. I don't give a fuck. People got to stop that shit. Well, David Ayer should have his project be seen. Yo, the company has moved forward. They don't care about that anymore. They won an Academy Award off of it for hair and makeup. Move on. There's the Suicide Squad coming out. There's a Peacemaker series coming out. I think it's good. But I feel like depending on who's at the helm of these movies makes it, who's at the helm and how much Warner Brothers tries to put their hand in the pot will say how the way these films can be. Because we've seen what happens when you can tell Warner Brothers meddling. I'll go back to Wonder Woman. We all know that the last third of the third act of the film is Zack Snyder's doing. That's why it tonally shifted, went real dark, and looked like a Zack Snyder project. That you can't do that when you have a whole tone for one film already for first two acts, and then third act you switch up. No, baby, no. So I do go in blind hoping for the best. Again, I'm psyched for the Suicide Squad. I was pumped up for Birds of Prey. I was skeptical. I was like, these aren't the birds, but okay. I thought it was going to be Gotham City Sirens, but went in open. And I always hope for the best. Again, do we always get the best? Absolutely not. But it is what it is. So thank you again for your email. Let me go to the next one from J.L. Phillips. He said, what's good, Jay? Real shit, bro. I don't even have a question or a statement about the MCU or DCEU. I just wanted to reach out and tell you that you're appreciated, pimpin'. Like, I've been listening to you for a while, and I know you deal with depression and the struggle of trying to be a good dad while living so far away from your kids, all while trying to grind and make it life. I just want to say, as a fan, a black man, and a fellow blur, keep doing what you do, pimpin'. You motivate people like me, and I just want to thank you for everything that you do. Keep your head up, pimpin'. J.L. Phillips II. Bro, thank you so much for this. It's a different thing. It's a difficult thing. I appreciate it. It is difficult being away from my kids. Not even just chasing a dream, just trying to make a basic living. It is difficult because even if I was back in Chicago, I'm still away from my daughter in Washington State. And out here, I'm further away from my son in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying? So the depression is just the sometimes not feeling adequate. I appreciate the love and when people tell me I motivate them and I inspire them, whether it be my work ethic, whether it be working out or whatever. You all are humbling to me, and it's amazing. I never expected that. I tell everybody I never set out to be, when I do certain things and put it out there in the world, I never expect to be inspirational. It's actually inspirational for me and a reminder for me to keep going. So to hear that from you all, I am eternally grateful, and I thank you so much. And depression is a thing that hits us black men hard, and we don't talk about it a lot. And again, I a lot of times honestly feel like a big bitch talking about, I'm just depressed in life. But I've learned that me talking about my depression struggles may help someone else to finally be open. I have lost way too many friends in the course of this pandemic to suicide because of depression and not being able to deal. I lost friends in general. And when it comes to depression and people who have taken their own lives, many have not expressed to anybody, had not expressed to anyone how they were feeling, how they were, what they were trying to cope with and deal with. And so I forever don't, as much as there's stuff I don't tell people, I don't want to go through that anymore, where I harbor things to the point where it becomes just the worst for me. So thank you for seeing what I've done and seeing who I am and seeing the man, and I appreciate you all, and I appreciate you, bro. I very much do so. So thank you so much. Let's go to another email from the homie Fred Castillo. It says the subject is Marvel team ups. He says, hey, Mr. J, it's been a while since I dropped an email your way, so here it goes. We've seen Marvel storylines that accumulate to an Avengers level event, but could we see a story where multiple villains team up, and who do you think it could be? Thank you for all the energy you put into your work with this podcast, as well as Blurs in the Hoods and the other outlets you use to express your opinion and call out bullshit when it shows itself. Have a great day, and I'll be listening. Fred Castillo. I've wondered that. You know, I think when we, you know, I want a villain team up. I do, but I don't want a villain team up and it be a one and done. I feel like they deserve so much more. I feel like to do a villain team up, I wanted to build right. And again, I don't just want the Sinister Six. Because, of course, that's the first and the main that everybody goes to. I don't want just that. You know what I'm saying? I want more than that. I want, fuck. I'd have to think, because I don't want to, it's hard trying to now pick villains, especially when they've used so many already. And yes, there's still a litany to be used. But also it's, what's Sony going to do with them? You know, there's certain Spider-Man villains, of course, Sony's going to have access to first and foremost. And we don't know how mutants are going to play into everything and which mutants are going to be brought in. Of course, we want Magneto. Of course, we eventually want Apocalypse. We want Sabretooth and things like that. So we got to see. So, you know, when it comes to those villains on top of villains we haven't seen yet, and even taking into consideration villains we've seen in some shape, form, or fashion or another in the Netflix series. You know, it's all those different things, man. So that's a thinker. That's a thinker. And so I will have to be thinking about that. But I appreciate that question, man. Whew, that was a good one. That was a damn good one right there. Yeah. All right, so that's all I got for the email. Again, you can email me, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call the hotline. Yes, I have a Mad Titan hotline, 818-276-6947, 818-276-6947. Leave a clear message. You can just call and use your phone, as long as it's clear, you're in a good spot, your signal ain't breaking up and all that other shit. I can hear you, and the people can hear you, and I will put it out there for the world, all right? I think that about wraps up everything I got for this edition. I know I said before I'd be back next week, but now shit's really rolling. So we're back weekly. I mean, yeah, the pandemic took a toll on things, and now things are rolling. So as always, I'm appreciating each and every one of you guys. Please, if you have not done so already, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you're listening over on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the like button and share this with everybody, all right? Speaking of which, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/JAY-Washington80, youtube.com/JAY-Washington80. Go over there. Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MrJayWashington. That's that. And also, what else is there? My Patreon, my Supervillain Squad, people who support me, and it's so. Look. I'm not working like I used to in the Patreon, and me trying to put stuff out for the Patreon, and people supporting like that has held me down, really, throughout this pandemic. And you guys just don't understand how much you have held me down. So thank you all. If you want to support, please, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. I have two tiers. One is my basic tier. You know, you come in, you join, you automatically get access to the Discord. We have great conversations in the Discord. I love that. And then there's the one-on-one with the Supervillain tier, which I think I've locked out because I had so many people join it. And I'm so grateful. And I didn't think it was going to be this many people that actually signed up for that tier. And I get a chance to sit down and have amazing one-on-one conversations. And I hope you guys have checked them out on YouTube. I've unlocked a lot of them. And check them out on if you're in the Patreon. So please. But also, thank you to the members of the squad, to the members of my Patreon, to my newest member, Travis Earl. Thank you so much. To my existing members, Adam Collins, Alberto Rios. Thank you, bro, for being a member at the 101 squad. Adelia Chamberlain, excuse me. Elias, Ashley King, AZ Badfish, I appreciate you, bro, for the 101 level. Brock Severson, Brian Lawson, the homie Chauncey Woodson, he's a 101 member, I appreciate him. Cheryl Cortman, who is a sweetheart. I'm grateful for you on so many levels you just don't know. Christopher Connolly, Dan Bemke, David Adams, Deflated Brady, Deontay Clemens, Edward Wilshire, Fanboy Cantina, Fillmore Pockets, Fred Castillo, Hillary Nellums, Jake Eichenvetter, James Robbins, Jared Simpson, Jason Inman, Jeffrey Chadorn, Jim Mason, Jim Payne. Thank you for being at that 101 level. Joe Lean, I love talking wrestling with you on that 101 level. You're phenomenal. Justin Square, Kenneth Daisy, Kirsty Oliveria, LK, Luis Torres. We have some great conversations, bro, and for you being from St. Louis and me from the Chi, and eventually I'll get some sleep, dog. Marcus Kennedy, Marcus Burton, Mike Moore, Mikey Lito, Paisley Darts, Patrick Harden, Quentin M. Milrow, Randy Constance, bro. Your one-on-ones I have are some of the wildest, rawest ones we go through, bro. Rudy Ueda, you are such a real, true friend, and I'm grateful for you. And Samir Tisfai, thank you again to each and every one of you all. Please, again, if you want to support, patreon.com/Mr. J. Washington. If you don't want to support monthly, you can Cash App me, Venmo me, Mr. J. Washington. Cash App is, of course, the $ Mr. J. Washington. Venmo at Mr. J. Washington. So you can go ahead and do that. Again, Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Myself and Winston A. Marshall. That is there. You can check that out. We go live, youtube.com/Blurs in the Hood, BLERDS, the letter N, THEHOOD. Every last Sunday of the month is Blurs After Dark, solely on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BLERDS, the letter N, THEHOOD. That's where we're at on Twitch. All right. That's about it. Look, Happy New Year again. I know it was past the New Year day, but fuck it. You've been here. Happy New Year for me. I will holler at you guys again next week. We are back on track. I'm about to put them on the calendar to let people know, yo, these are the dates, man. Tight Dance to come out. It's got to be out here for the people. Holler at y'all there. Take care. I'm out.